Jai Guruji, Anita Aunty. Jai Guruji, Suresh Shankar. Over to Suresh Uncle.
निपेश अंकल, ये दरबार चेंज कर दीजिए, दरबार चेंज कर दीजिए।
जी अंकल।
जय गुरु जी महाराज, जय गुरु जी अनीता आंटी,
जय गुरु जी।
शुक्राना गुरु जी महाराज दा मल्टीलिंगुअल फेसबुक पेज की तरफ से, जूम प्लेटफॉर्म से आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है।
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Over to you, Deepa aunty.
जय गुरु जी, अनीता आंटी।
जय गुरु जी।
शुक्राना गुरु जी महाराज दा मल्टीलिंगुअल जूम प्लेटफॉर्म कोलकाता की संगत आपको आज के सत्संग में स्वागत करती हूँ। आप गुरु जी के बहुत ब्लेसेड संगत है। हमने आपके बहुत से सत्संग सुने हैं और ये हमारी खुशकिस्मती है कि आज गुरु जी ने हमें मौका दिया कि डायरेक्टली फिर आपका सत्संग हम सब सुने और गुरु जी के ब्लेसिंग्स पाए।
Thank you.
Over to you, Aunty.
How long do I have to share approximately? How long can I share for approximately?
Aunty, 1 hour. 1 hour.
1 hour? Perfect. 1 hour is good.
But we will love to hear you since till morning.
Too sweet. Okay, but can I just say, so I need to speak in Hindi and English, right? I break into both the languages, right?
Yeah, both mix. Thank you.
थोड़ा सा पंजाबी भी होगा, quote
Any
unquote,
language you are comfortable, Aunty?
Thank you so much. So I'll start like last, आपका जो final भजन था वो बहुत सुंदर था, जिसमें मन्नो मंगोनी गुरुजी दे वचन है। तो एक्चुअली वो कहते थे मन्नो मंगोनी क्योंकि हमें दीवार तक नजर आता है। We have a very myopic vision and he has an infinite vision, of course, infinitely divine vision. तो वो कहते थे just trust in my timing and my plans for you. तो कई बार हम impatient हो जाते हैं and I was no different. So when I came to Guruji for the first time, जिस तरह आप कैमरा में मुझे आज देख रहे हो नहीं देख पाते because I had a completely deformed face, आंखें शट थी and lips मेरे पूरे बंद थे। अगर स्माइल करती थी तो फेस क्रैक होता था। So there was a lot of pus all around my face. तो मैं खुद ही अपनी आईने को नहीं देख पाती थी, तो कोई देखता था तो नजर हटा देता था। So I had become an introvert. I think I'm anyway by nature an introvert, believe it or not. And मैं किसी से बात नहीं करती थी, मैं कोने में जाके बैठ जाती थी गुरुजी के पास। And every time I would bow, he would just say, "बस आया कर तू." And it was almost like a father giving a child a word of comfort कि आया कर सब ठीक हो जाएगा, हौसला देते थे मुझे। So I was very regular to begin with, and like he said, तू रोज आया कर, रोज लंगर करना है। तो I took his word to the letter. मेरे लिए वो बहुत बड़ी चीज थी कि गुरुजी took me in his fold, that he had embraced me and he took me in his fold. That was a huge acceptance. I felt loved, I felt accepted by him. And then came, this was around September, I would say, and then October, changing season in Delhi. My asthma attack triggered while I was sitting with him. So I just said, Guruji, मुझे जाना है, जाने दीजिए, मुझे asthma हो रहा है, attack आ रहा है. And it was literally, I was turning black and blue. And I was suffocating and choking. And he said, "Chup karke langar khaga, theek hona de." So I looked at the food and I said, "Guruji, mujhe steroid injections chahiye." He said, "Yo tere steroid injections hai." So again, I looked at the food and I said, Guruji, ye aloo gobi dal hai. Ye steroid injections nahi hai. So he said, जब बाहर जूती उतारती है, ते अपने ifs and buts छट के आया कर. Along with our preconceived notions or education qualification, we have to leave that terrain behind of logic and reasoning and rational. That territory plays no part in the realm of faith. When logic ends, that's when our faith actually begins and deepens. Deepens, and it takes us to another level of spirituality. It becomes us. It drives us. It becomes completely infallible, unbreakable. Things around us might break, but our faith never breaks. It becomes unbreakable. Things start falling apart, maybe, like they did in my life. But my faith remained infallible. Wow, how, I don't know. It was His grace, not by my doing, not by my efforts, but it was His grace that was showered upon me to remain firm in my faith. कि मैं जैसे हिलती नहीं थी. कई बार बोलते थे फिर आ गई, मैं तेनू ठीक नहीं करना, ते तू क्यों आई? So I would still come, park myself next to him, and then he would smile, as if to say, ye to obstinate hai, aayegi. It was a little test to see. And it was to break my ego, of course. He would, reprimand me in front of the entire Sangat. Kya sina nahi aana, phir aa gayi. Main tenu nahi theek karna. But then I realized कि आपने नहीं ठीक करना तो किसी ने नहीं ठीक करना. So आप मुझे ठीक करो या ना करो, मैंने आना है. Because I felt so much love coming to him. I felt at home. Honestly speaking, since I was born, literally, I was born in England, and I was born with a hole in the heart and asthma. First 10 years of my life was spent in hospitals. I was in and out. I have a very vivid vision of that time. And then, teenage years were fine. Then I moved to Delhi in 88, to India, got married. But I never felt at home. Wherever I was, I used to feel restless. I used to feel, where is my home? And on bowing to Guruji, believe you me, I felt I have found my home. So whether you embrace me, not embrace me, whether you heal me, this is my home. My heart told me so. And home is where the heart is. And then when he scolded me, कि चुप करके लंगर खा, I cried and I ate. And as I bowed, I was very upset with Guruji. And telepathically, as I bowed, I just said, I'm not coming here again. To which he verbally said, Kal aa jaye. And again, then I said, अब मैं यहाँ से सीधा अस्पताल जाऊंगी और मैं कल नहीं आऊंगी. To which he said, hun hospital jaan di lord nahi. This was telepathic in my view. And then he was responding verbally. And he said, kal aa jaye, hun tenu tera kalyan kitta jaish kar. I thought, kalyan kitta jaish kar, what does that mean? Does it mean my asthma is cured? So anyway, I left Chota Mandir. And as I maneuvered towards Ashlok Hospital, that's where Dr. Lok Chopra and Ashwini Chopra used to treat me, I realized that I was breathing. I think I was breathing easy for the first time in my life. Because from 88 to 97, when I moved to Delhi, it was metaphorical and literal. I was choking. I was choking in my marriage, and I was choking in the literal sense also, because that would manifest into asthma attacks. So life was difficult. It was a huge challenge. And then when I realized I'm breathing, following day when I came, Guruji said, dekh le, fir kalyan kar agi, asthma theek ho gaya. And it was. But in my human mind, my logical mind, I said, maybe this is just a coincidence. We'll wait the next season and see what happens. But many seasons came and went. My asthma never came back. So this is the power of langar. Like in today's world, where there's keto diets and intermittent diets, we tend to negotiate. When I say we, I would like to say we because I don't want to feel that, I know it all, because I don't. But we tend to say कि थोड़ा कम दे दो लंगर, ये बहुत ज़्यादा है, बहुत heavy है. And then we avoid sometimes going to satsangs कि ओह खाना बहुत heavy देते हैं, लंगर इतना ज़्यादा देते हैं. Of course, simplicity even in langar is very important. As Guruji had taught us, chapati and ek sabji and dal. The simplicity he taught us. So, and of course it started becoming elaborate like it does. Everything is tweaked, everything becomes elaborate. When Guruji used to be sitting on his gaddi, even the gaddi was very, simple. It was not like ornate. It was not overly decorative and elaborate. There was simplicity in everyday life, with Guruji. And that's what he came to teach us. Simple living, high thinking, simplicity, spirituality. And never said ki abstain from this and that. Live in the material world, never cut ties with the material world. That's where we learn our lessons actually. And that's where our growth lies. So he said, the following year when, I kept going, and the following year he calls me from the Sangat and he said, Nita, tu shraddha mein paas ho gayi. Tenu nimbu ti tarah nichode ja tera skin cancer theek kita. Hun tu bathroom ki batti na band kiya kar, aine ko bhi na dara kar. And when he said bathroom ki batti na band kar and aine ko na dar, I thought, how does he know something so personal? So I looked at him astonished. I was totally obviously bewildered, baffled, and astonished. I was taken aback. So I looked at him and he says, हैरान क्यों रही है? सस्ते विच रब मिल गया ना, तो अन्ना बैठ भी जांदा है, गल्ला भी कर लादा है, खा भी लैंदा है, तो तो पता ही नहीं मैं कौन हां. जदों मैं चल जांगी ना समझ आएगी कि रब आया सी, पर रब की कदर नहीं हुई. And he said, तुसी समझदे हो मैं दुकान खोली हुई है, तुसी अपनी शॉपिंग लिस्ट लैंदे हो, ए दे दो, ओ दे दो, प्रमोशन दे दो, बच्चा दे दो, नया घर दे दो, नया वोटी दे दो, नया हस्बैंड दे दो. I mean, he was funny. He had a great sense of humor and he taught us how to laugh, how to live, how to love. He is our, supreme master and we are his students. And we are still learning in this life called, it's a school. And we are still all students. And he said, जदों दुख हुंदा है, कोई नहीं काम आंदा, अपनी फैमिली भी नहीं काम आती जब आप कष्ट में होते हो. कहंदे जदों तू इन्नी देर आईसीयू विच रहिंदी सी, जदों तैनूं अस्थमा अटैक हुंदा सी, ते कौन काम आया? कोई नहीं काम आंदा. माँ बाप भी छड़ के चल जांदे ने. तो तू पिछले साल एस्ट्रोलॉजर को गई सी. मैं कहा हाँ जी गुरुजी. And I was very sheepish by this time because I realized I had done something untoward, because Guruji was quite anti, astrologers, tarot card readers, all this new age sciences. And he said, गई सी? मैं कहा हाँ जी गुरुजी गई थी. फिर उन्हें की क्या सी? मैं कहा गुरुजी. कहंदे हाँ दस कि तेरी कोई लाइफ नहीं सी दिसंबर 97 ਦੇ बाद. फिर दस कौन वड्डा, तेरा गुरु या तेरा एस्ट्रोलॉजर? इस करके कहना इधर उधर जान दी लोड़ नहीं हुंदी, क्योंकि जदों तुसी मेरे कोल आंदे हो ते मैं तुहाडे हत्थां दे लकीरां और मत्थे दे लकीरां बदल देना. मैं तैनूं नवी जिंदगी देती है, अगे जाके समझ आएगी क्यों देती है. And it's incredible because I remember my thought was, वाकई क्यों दी है? Because I was in a lot of distress. I was despondent, I was distressed, I was constantly dejected because I was having a very heartbreaking time in my marriage. It was a loveless marriage and there was a lot of cultural differences and very difficult, to say the least. And Guruji knew that I was not in a happy space. So every time I would say also, okay, Guruji, I want a divorce, he would say, ऐसा दी चीज़ां नहीं मंगी दी होंदियां, तू बस आया कर, तू फिर देख नज़ारे आया कर बस. So my skin miraculously, literally cleared within, I would say weeks and months. It just, that redness and that pus, it just cleared through the langar again. through his vibration, listening to the Shabad. एक दिन बहुत डांट पड़ी. Guruji said, तू ना शब्द सुनती नहीं ध्यान नाल. मैं कहा गुरुजी मुझे समझ नहीं आती है. ये सब समझ लो किसने किया है? सिर्फ सुनिया कर. And the vibrations of the Shabad that we listen to heal us. And today with his meher, with his grace, with his ever-flowing grace, I draw the essence and I understand, I think all of it. I understand the Gurbani now as much as I can. And I think it's beautiful. I mean, if there's no Gurbani playing in a satsang, because that's another thing which we humans tend to tweak. Sometimes people start playing Bollywood songs, in satsangs. The point is, as Guruji said, जितना हम उनका हुक्म मानेंगे और उनके हुक्म से चलेंगे, तो उनका उतना ही हमें blessings मिलेंगे. If we tweak it or twist it to, कहते हैं ना, दो तरह के लोग आते हैं गुरुजी के पास. एक होते हैं गुरमुख और एक होते हैं मनमुख. गुरमुख होते हैं जो पूरे गुरुजी के हुक्म से चलते हैं. एंड अगर गुरुजी ने बोला कि मेरे शब्द चलाया करो, ओदे he's infused his energy, his blessings, and that becomes medicine for us, right? It makes complete logical sense कि गुरुजी ने कुछ डाला है हमारे vessel में, and if we apply that vessel naturally, it's going to bless us. But if we tweak it and say नहीं, सब blessed है, हम Bollywood songs play करेंगे सत्संग्स में, so we are missing the point. We are losing his blessings, we're missing the point. कहते ना उनका हुक्म पूरा, Guruji used to say 100% surrender, 100% blessings. तो उसे 50% surrender करोगे तो 50% blessings. So the divine mathematics is so precise. And if we can just follow his word to the letter, or try at least, we are humans and to err is human. But if we can endeavor to apply his teachings to our lives, like ik chup saw suk, so never get into a tussle. Just recently I attended a satsang here in Dubai, and they were playing Bollywood songs, but I didn't comment. I just said to Guruji, okay, Guruji, the way you've taught me, I was also a student, and I'm probably still a student, of course, and I've not graduated. I'm probably still at the nursery level. But I said, Guruji, the way you teach me, please teach the host also. I don't get into a tussle. I don't like to get into conflicts. There was enough conflict in my life in my past. So I just feel, we are nobody to say anything to anybody. But I feel Guruji shows the way. He lights the candle of, I would say the candle of wisdom in all of us. So he gives us the gyan, Gurun Gyana one. So Guruji se connect ho gaye, to aisa aisa gyan bhi aane lag jata hai. And it's really beautiful because it's so simple. He's taken us away from religion. He has broken the boundaries and the walls of religion, because religion is the cause of so much conflict. So he has broken the walls and he's shown us it's just your value system. It's your conduct, which is your true religion. We can't give anything to Guruji. Like he used to say, "Tusi mainu de ki sakte ho. For all the blessings that I give you, what can you give me in return?" And what we can give him is a life well lived. It is our good conduct. कहते थे, अच्छा नहीं कर सकते थे, बुरा भी ना करो. अच्छा नहीं बोल सकते थे, बुरा भी ना बोलो. So it is literally working on our character, on our personality. And the mindset changes. It changes organically. He does it. He's a doer. He used to just say, Aya karo. Mere ko no aya karo, satsang suno, shabad suno, langar khao. How simple it is. 3 pillars of faith. So it's satsang, seva, simran. And the 2 that I've added is sabad and shukrana. So the 5 pillars of faith. And the faith, like he said, Anita, faith to badi choti cheez hundi hai. Faith is the window behind which we stand that saves us from the scorching heat and the biting frost, no doubt. But beyond faith is surrender. Like he used to say, surrender kar jao. फिर देखो नजारे। एंड एक्चुअली वो रस जो गुरुजी बोलते थे ना, आया करो आनंद लेता करो, रस लिया करो। तो आई यूज्ड टू थिंक इन माय एरोगेंट हेड कि मैं तो रोज आती हूँ, रोज शब्द सुनती हूँ, रोज सत्संग लोगों के सुनती हूँ, रोज लंगर खाती हूँ, तो मैंने सरेंडर नहीं किया, मैं रस नहीं लेती। ऑफ कोर्स मैंने नहीं रस लिया था, रस पता ही नहीं था रस क्या होता है। दैट अमृत that you feel when you're sitting with Guruji or sitting really connecting with him, you really feel this flow of energy that is so blissful and divine, it cannot even be articulated. It cannot be fathomed, measured in words. Words fall short. We can't even eulogize him the way we want to eulogize him. You just feel him in every cell tissue of your being. You just feel his presence and his grace and his amrit. It's just so magical, if I can use that word. Although magical is also a small word. Like he used to say, Anita, chamatkar nu namaskar hunda. People need to see that miracle. मैं तेरा skin cancer नहीं ठीक करता, तेनू किस्सा विश्वास हुंदा रब विच। और रब नू भुल गए ने सारे। दिल्ली दे संगत नहीं, दिल्ली के लोग स्पेशली समझते ने, although this is world over, दिल्ली दे लोग समझते ने कि पैसा रब है। And that is another reason when I moved to Delhi in 88 from Manchester, I had a culture shock because it was all about what's your address. I was kind of measured through what I wore, whether I had stones on my fingers, diamonds on my fingers. So it was very judgmental society. And I was a misfit. And Guruji knew that. Guruji used to just say, I said one day, in fact, I said, Guruji, मुझे ना थोड़ा चुस्त और चालाक बना दो, क्योंकि मैं दिल्ली में रहती हूँ ना, बहुत जरूरी है, और मेरी सोसाइटी भी हाई सोसाइटी है. Because my ex-husband was into Bentley dealership, and he was a big guy, big, well-known guy. And I said, Guruji, I don't belong, and I feel so lost. He said, पोलिया दा रब होंदा है, तू जिस तरह है ना ठीक है, तू पोले बन के रह. I said, but I'll always be a misfit then. I'll always be lost in this, the glam and the glitter of the society. But I'm glad. I'm glad he gradually withdrew me from that, and he brought me to his domain where I belonged, where we all belong. But some of us take a little longer to realize where we belong. But I have a sense of belonging. No matter where I am, be it Manchester, Delhi, Dubai, no matter where he sends me, I am at home because he's with me. So home is now him. And he's everywhere. He's omnipresent. So that's the beauty of Guruji transforming our mindset, transforms our emotions, makes us think better, behave better. And even if we do wrong, as I said, to err is human, we regret it. And we apologize to whoever it may be. We don't take our, resentments to bed anymore. We don't carry any anger and guilt. We don't take it to our, as I say, to our bed. We resolve issues now with his grace. And we don't even get into conflicts because Guruji taught us, ek chup so sukh, man hoy changa, de nalke da pani vi ganga. Little things. कि अपना मस्त रहो, बस गुरुजी को प्यार करो. Guruji is the be all and end all of our existence. It's so beautiful. And then fast forwarding in 2007, 1 week before he left his chola, he said, तेरी सेवा है, तू सत्संग किता कर, जा वापस मैनचेस्टर, माँ दी सेवा कर, and सत्संग कर. So I just looked at him and said, Guruji, लेकिन मुझे तो सत्संग करना नहीं आता है. He said, तू थोड़ी ना करेंगी, मैं करांगा. Because when he cured me of my skin, I remember he said, खड़े होके सुना, किस तरह मैं तेरा ठीक करता है, skin. So I stood up and I remember I was, shaking like a leaf and my knees were jerking and I was so nervous. And I just said, Guruji ne mujhe theek kar diya. And then I sat and Guruji started laughing. Guruji said, le, kamli hai. Tenu to satsang bhi nahi sunana aanda. So when I said in 2007, कि Guruji, आपने तो बोला था मुझे सत्संग नहीं सुनाना आता. तो कहते कमली है, वो मेरी मेहर है। जो उस जिस सेवा गुरुजी देते हैं उनकी मेहर उसमें आ जाए तो वो ही हमारा अमृत है, वो ही हमारी ब्लेसिंग है। कहते सी सुनन वाला और सुनान वाला दोनों तरफ मेरी ब्लेसिंग चलती है। मैं ते सुनिया कर और सुनाया कर। तो आई एम नॉट गोना लाई, आई लव माय सेवा, इट्स द ओनली थिंग आई नो। अगर मुझे किचन में खड़े कर देते और बोलते लंगर बना, आई वुड हैव डाइड। एंड ही सेड उनको पता था कि यही कर सकती है और देन कुछ आंदा ही नहीं। तो ही सेड जगह जगह जाएंगी, across every continent, country, city in the world is going to have satsangs. कार कार मेरी जोत जलेगी। And it's so delightful to see कि this is manifesting. And he said कि बड़ा मारा टाइम आ रहा है, अगे जिन्नी ऐश करनी है कर ले, बड़ा मारा टाइम आ रहा है, एक दिन आएगा कार बैठ के याद करेंगी। एंड एक घंटा जरूर मैं दिता कर, रोज याद कर एक घंटा। एंड चलते फिरते भी याद कर, उठक बैठक सोवत जागत। एंड यू नो जस्ट याद करो अपने गुरुजी को, प्यार करो, लाइक अ फादर figure, mother figure, best friend. Converse with him. Don't make him distant or unapproachable or unattainable. Guruji is in the very seat of our hearts. He's in the seat. Guruji कहते, you know, 5 मंदिर होते हैं, बड़े मंदिर, कमरा मंदिर, घर मंदिर, तन मंदिर, मन मंदिर. So Guruji हर जगह ही है. So, but feel it, feel him, feel his presence and manifest him in your lives. Because it's easy to do if we deeply connect to Guruji. He's probably sitting here now while I'm sharing. And Guruji inspires. He is our greatest mentor. He is the be-all and end-all of our every breath. Fast forwarding, I did go back to England. I did say, Mama, I took care of Mom. She was very sick. And my father, Guruji knew, you know, obviously before coming to Guruji, everything is pre-written. It is predestined, but after coming to Guruji, everything, every syllable of our lives is rewritten and is rewritten beautifully. Guruji writes a book of life in such an articulate and beautiful manner. He changes everything. He is a divine director. He's a divine writer. I never thought I'd go back to England after moving to Delhi, because after I met Guruji and I met his Sangat and I started attending Satsangs after he left his body, I actually started loving living in Delhi. So I hated Delhi to begin with. He turned the hatred into love. And then he said, nahi, wapas ja. Then I said, this is not fair. I mean, first I hated it. And I used to say, I remember, कि गुरुजी मुझे वापस इंग्लैंड भेज दो, आई डोंट बिलोंग हियर। कहते नहीं करनी है, हाली नहीं भेजना। तो then when I had to go back, I said, why do I have to go back? But he knew. My father died of cancer in 2009. My elder daughter went to America to study, USC. Sonakshi went in 2010. My mother was diagnosed in 2000. Look at the timing, divine timing again. So when Sonakshi, I dropped her to NYU, to New York, to her uni. My mom said, okay, I really need you, but it's up to you. Of course, I was all alone now in Delhi. So I said, yeah, it makes sense. What Guruji said, he's connecting the dots now. So I went back to England. And Mom and I bonded like never before. Because as a girl, you know, I got married, changed my countries, moved away. So you know how like the distance actually just made it difficult to bond all the time. So, but this time it was Guruji's way of enabling me to bond and love and take care of my mother. And that was a beautiful seva. Like Guruji said, माँ बाप दी सेवा जो नहीं कर सकता, जो उन्होंने प्यार नहीं कर सकता, ध्यान नहीं रख सकता, तो वैसे ही रब को दूर हो जाता है। माँ बाप का दिल कभी मत दुखाओ. I am a parent today and I'm a mother. And, you know, my daughters are gorgeous, they're wonderful, they're, you know, beautiful human beings. But थोड़ा सा भी कुछ बोल देती है तो एकदम लगता है. No, I say, please don't say anything, because, you know, I realize now that I must have also said things to my mom inadvertently, you know, or to my dad. And I realized that, it's not the way to behave. We have to respect our parents, and we must teach our children to respect us. It's very simple because it's good karma for them. And then I came like talking about Guru Parivar, like Guruji said, मैं जा रहे हैं पर मैं अपना Guru Parivar चढ़ के जा रहे हैं. This Guru Parivar will be more like, वो ज़्यादा काम आएगा, आपके प्यार ज़्यादा करेगा. It's so true. Because I came back with my mother, उनकी आखिरी ख्वाहिश थी, मम्मा कहती, मैनू ना अमृतसर ले जा. She was from Amritsar, mom. And she said कि मैनू अमृतसर ले जा, मेरी आखिरी ख्वाहिश है, मैंने गोल्डन टेम्पल जाना है. Plus the family has their own temple also on Lawrence Road. So she said मैनू ले जा. So we did. My younger brother is also connected deeply to Guruji. So we took her to Amritsar, and I went to Baramandir thereafter. And वहाँ किसी संगत ने कहा, although there are no mediators, we must be very mindful of this and very vigilant when it comes to messengers and mediators and people saying that we had your dream. We must be mindful and we must be discerning. We must be careful and use our wisdom कि क्या सच है, क्या नहीं है. Just, be careful on this, because as the Sangat is growing, सब एकता नहीं होते. Like Guruji said, मेरी संगत अब बहुत बढ़ जानी है, पर अलग अलग क्लास में सब है. So मुझे पता है कौन किस क्लास में है, क्या intention है, क्या भाव है. A lot of, attention seeking tactics are also there. So, just be careful of what. But of course, this Sangat who approached me, she said, Guruji ने दिखा दिया कि आप ठीक नहीं हो और आप अपना routine health check करा लो. And honestly, there was no harm in getting my routine health check. I was a little cynical and skeptical कि क्या गुरुजी ने आपको दिखाया, मुझे क्यों नहीं दिखाया? There are no mediators. But I used my wisdom and I said, she's saying it repeatedly. Every time I'd go to Baramandir, she would say it again and again. So I said, okay, there's no harm in getting my routine health check. I've never had it done, so let me get it done. So I did, and it turned out I had breast cancer. And then the long to short, I had 3 tumors in 2 years. Again, the long to short, I had 32 radiations, and it impacted my immunity. But I went through that karma like a prick of a needle as opposed to blade of a sword. You can say that it was a breeze. Literally, it was a breeze compared to what would have been if I had not been connected to Guruji. Very often people ask, what has Guruji done for you? What is the difference between just being a believer and being Guruji's believer? I think the difference is Zameen Asman ka farak hai, because here Guruji changes destinies. Believing is one thing, but believing in Guruji and loving him changes our world, makes the impossible possible, makes the difficult easy. 1 second. Pablo, sit. Just sit, please. Reena, isko le jao, please. So, where was I? Sorry, my pet, who's not really my pet, is my daughter's pet. Okay, कोई बात नहीं, कुछ नहीं कहेगा. I've totally forgotten where I was. So I came back, I had cancer, I had the radiation, and then I went back to England. And I forgot to mention that when I moved to Manchester in 2010, I fell into a mild depression, and the Sangat from Delhi called, and from the Baramandir, she said, oh, I've just left Baramandir. I was missing you. It's a Monday, because Monday Guruji had started my seva there immediately after he left his physical garb to share Satsangs with the growing Sangat. It was beautiful. I used to sit in the back. There was Shalini Kera and a few other Purani Sanghas, so to speak. And we used to sit on the ledge in the back, where opposite the kitchen, and we used to share. And it was almost like every Monday, and it was hour by the hour. It was beautiful. It was just divine. And kya karam kaat rahe the Guruji mera us time pata nahi. And I must also mention that my first international satsang, which I'm very, very grateful to Gauri Aunty and Tyagi Uncle, was in 2011. They had called me for their, Tyagi Uncle's birthday. And he said, come, there's about 500 to 600 Sangat in Kuwait. Just come and share. So that was my first international satsang, and I loved it. I really realized, I said, oh my God, here I'm spreading my wings. And what Guruji had ordained is now unfolding. My destiny is unfolding. It was beautiful. And destiny unfolds on his watch. We must be mindful of the fact that in the realm of faith, patience and perseverance is very, very critical, because we want instant. In this instant age, we want instant gratification, we want instant blessings, and we want instant unfolding of our life purpose, because each one of us does ask, why am I here? Who am I? And what is my life purpose? So the purpose Guruji reveals on his watch, according to our karmic, destiny. So then that was a beaut. Okay, rewinding. In Kuwait, Guruji made me share satsangs 4 times a day for 1 whole week. It was almost like a doctor's prescription. Every day, morning, breakfast, satsang, then, lunch, high tea, dinner. And I knew in my heart something is happening inside my body that Guruji is curing me of, or minimizing. Like you said, 90% ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕਰਮ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਲੈਣਾ, 10% like a prick of a needle, as opposed to a blade of a sword. You have to go through your karmas. So I knew subconsciously that something is happening in my body, but I had no symptoms. I came back to Delhi. I had a hysterectomy. That very day, as I got discharged, I was back in hospital because I had excruciating pain in my stomach. The ultrasound clearly stated, and my brother was witness, he was standing there while the technician was showing that in this ultrasound, there's sludge in the liver, the bile duct is blocked, and there's stones in her gallbladder. So she needs to be hospitalized, and we need to give her intravenous antibiotics. So it was. Now after 10 days, I got impatient, and the results were the same. We had ultrasound every 4th, 5th day. Now what happened, on the 10th day, I just cried out to Guruji. And I said, Guruji, what's going on? No surgery, nothing. My infection is not going. And where is your Sangat? And where are you? 10 days later, a Sangat walks into the hospital, into my room, and says, 2 Sangat, and one is carrying a cake, a chocolate cake, and the other just walks in and very confidently says, Chai Prashad Mangwa. I said, Rohit, this is a hospital, not Guruji's mandir. Nahi, Chai Prashad Mangwa. And Sumi, on the other hand, the other Sangat, she opens the cake and it says Jai Guruji on it. And she goes, have a slice. Meanwhile, my surgeon walks in. He said, day after tomorrow is your surgery. Tomorrow is your MRI. So please don't eat or drink anything. You need to be on a fast. And this Sangat, Rohit says, तुसी जिन्ने मर्जी टेस्ट वेस्ट करांदे रहो, ऐसा कुछ नहीं निकलना. The way Guruji used to speak. And the surgeon goes, whatever, I mean, let's get practical. You need surgery. So that's day after. So just don't eat. The long to short, day after was my MRI. Saturday, the surgeon walks into my room and says, you may be discharged. We don't know what happened. We really are baffled. You had all these issues, but you're clear as day and your MRI is absolutely clean. You can go home. So that was a huge blessing, huge miracle. He saved me from the surgery. And then 2012 is when I got the cancer, after cancer, 3 tumors, as I said. I had 32 radiations in Delhi. My immune system was compromised. I had autoimmune disease in 2016. And then fast forwarding, but my journey of traveling and sharing kind of escalated to another level. It was beautiful. Every month, practically going to New York or LA, wherever. I mean, it was beautiful because I wanted to see the world. As a single woman now, I questioned my existence, and I was financially insecure at, initially. And I thought, will I ever be able to travel? Will I ever be able to spend again? And Guruji just made it all happen, and how he knows. And like he said, Jugar karangya, like I used to say, Guruji, possible hai ki aisa hoga? कहते जुगाड़ करेंगे. So everything that I found impossible, he made it possible. So what can he not do? So, and why are we always surprised? I mean, he is God who descended there to uplift humanity and mankind, and he said कि मैनू इंसान दे चोला लैन दी लोड़ नहीं सी, पर तुसी भुल्ले भुलाए हो, तो तुहानू याद दिलाना है कि रब है, और अगे बड़ा मारा टाइम आ रहा है, इस करके तुसी जुड़ जाओ, उन असली चीज मांग लो, उन रब को रब मांग लो. I don't like dogs. Okay, बैठ जाओ ना. You sit, Jai Guruji. Sit, darling. Sit. Sit. Mama's coming soon. And then what happened? 2016, I had autoimmune disease. And then I was fine. Good years. Then last year, I have to say, in 2019, first of all, Guneet Monga calls me, the producer of Lunchbox, and I'm her godmother. I'm very proud to say that, because every time she introduces me, she says, she's my godmother. And I feel so happy, because I feel that, wow, somebody so accomplished and so talented. And I, went to Bombay to stay with her. That's another satsang for another time, another place. But that's a beautiful satsang, how we connected, and how Guruji connected me to beautiful Sangat in Bombay. There's Karan Anand, there's Vivana, there's so many Sangat, beautiful Sangat world over. So blessed. And 2019, she calls me, I was in Manchester in summer. She goes, Chennai, Australia. I said, wow, you won't believe it, Guneet. That was the only continent I have not touched yet. She said, well, I'm getting an award, Melbourne Film Festival, Jane. I was not interested in that, honestly. I said, oh, okay, let me find out with the Satsangs. That's my interest. Little did I know, Satsangs are flowing in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Gold Coast. So I said, Guneet, I'll accompany you. Let's go. And she was extremely happy. She said, great, maybe Satsang karungi. I said, theek hai. She's a big bhakt of Guruji. So we did. 2019 was blissful. Then came 2020. And this was February. And she said, look, Anita, there's so many producers, directors connecting to Guruji. So come to Bombay. This was last year, 2020. So I went. And from there, the Pune Sangat called and said, Aap aa jao. I was deliriously happy. I said, wow, great. So wo bhi ho gaya. And then my daughters called me from Dubai and said, Mama, come and stay with us in Dubai for 2 weeks. I arrived here 4th of March, and the lockdown was announced. Overnight, the world changed. And Reena Bulalo, ab ne sun raha. So I came, and overnight, our vocabulary changed. The world changed. We slept in one world, as I always say, and we woke up in another. And I was here. I was here for the whole year, 2020, blissfully here. Satsangs galore, even though contained. But the connection was on a different level. Now everything was redefined. I was not externally running from one satsang to another. In fact, I was going within. And I was really connecting to him on a deeper level. I loved it. I loved the lockdown. And I know for many it was a struggle. But for me, the only way out was in. And I realized that जो गुरुजी बोलते थे एक दिन कार बैठ के याद करेंगे, तू सत्संग करेंगे एक घंटा मैंने याद करेंगे. And I thought, this is it. गुरुजी बोलते थे हमारा टाइम आ गया. We are living it. This God Kalyug is here. These volatile times, unstable times, the only stability in these unstable times is him, his faith, his love, Guruji. Guruji's here. He's not gone anywhere. And I've connected on a different level. It was divine, to say the least. He transported all of us. I'm sure not just me. It was people who wanted to attain him, they attained him. And, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open to you. It's whatever you find, जैसे दृष्टि वैसे सृष्टि. जो आप ढूंढोगे वो मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. जो आपकी खोज है वही आपको मिलेगा. आप गुरु देखेंगे तो गुरु मिलेगा. भगवान गुरु में देखोगे तो भगवान मिलेगा. अगर आप अपनी मांग में रहोगे तो मांग वही मिलेगा. तो आप कहते थे ना गुरुजी, मंगन ना तुसी अपनी मांग छोटी कर देते हो, पर जब हम नहीं मांगते तो वो बेस्ट देते हैं on his timing. So 2020 was blissful. I was here throughout. And then 21 came with his challenges, many challenges, deep and distressing. In Jan, my younger one got COVID, Sunakshi, on her birthday, or just a day or two before her birthday. She didn't celebrate. And 2 weeks before the elder one, Anishka's 30th birthday, she met with a ghastly accident. She was on the quad bike in the desert. They'd gone in Dubai. I was here. And her face, body, it was completely injured in a ghastly manner. And she was injured to a point where her eye bone was fractured, cheekbone. And the doctor said she could possibly go blind in one eye. She'll lose her vision if she doesn't get surgery. As a mother, I was devastated. I was, to say the least, I was numb with pain. And then I remember the morning of that, when I had to go to a room, my elder daughter said, Mom, just be strong and don't cry in front of her. So when I went, I didn't cry. I just the tears were stuck in my throat. And I looked at her and I thought, it was terrible. There was blood all over. Eyes were shut, lips were shut. She couldn't eat. We had to give her fluids for a few days. And then the long to short, her father said, okay, bring her to India because I know the surgeons here. So we booked, went to the airport, got our boarding pass. I'm wheeling her on the wheelchair. I'm wheeling her to the, through the security departure gate. We all have our boarding passes. And again, Guru Parivar, it always comes to our rescue. No matter where we are, a Guru Parivar is blessed by Guruji. And we have this sense of fraternity and camaraderie, which we have not with our own family also. In my life, I've seen, mujhe kuch bhi chahiye hota hai, kuch bhi, choti si cheez, I'll tell you, if I feel like having a coffee and I can't find company, it's always Guru Parivar who will call and say, let's go out for coffee. It's the most insignificant to the significant. My wishes have been fulfilled, by Guru Parivar. So Guruji clearly dwells amidst us all. And he makes, he manifests our desires. He makes the smallest to the largest possible. And then at the boarding gate, at the departure gate, I was stopped. And I was told, okay, you cannot fly. India will reject you. Either it will deport you or blacklist you. You're on a tourist visa. I've survived in India for the last 30 years on a tourist visa, having a British passport. And I said, what's going on? So it was literally a changed world that we live in. Earlier, there was no objection. 5-year visa, what was that? And they said, no, you can't. India's not allowing tourists. So you can imagine my plight. I told the girls that you carry on. You must proceed because you have an impending surgery and your father's waiting on the other end. So they both carried on and I went back to the apartment and I was heartbroken. Now, kehna chinta nahi chintan karo. It was 3 a.m. by the time I reached home. And I looked at Guruji's Swaroop and I said, Guruji, bahut aasan hai kehna chinta nahi chintan karo. And I know it's Amrit Vela. It's 3 a.m. I should do chintan, but I can't. I am overwhelmed with chinta. I'm going to sleep. And I did. I cried myself to sleep. I didn't know what had happened. I was in a state of complete shock. And the following morning, I woke up to this video of Shivji. A Sangat sends it to me. He's a very respected Sangat in Delhi. And he's a lawyer, one of the topmost lawyers. And he's very fond of me. He's completely like, you know, he respects me a lot as I respect him. And he looks up to me as a mentor, as an elder sister. And he just said, watch this video of Shivji. It's so soothing. I said, yeah, sure, I will. He said, why are you so, why are you so kind of offish? Then the Pandora box opened. I shared everything with him. And he said, why did you not tell me? I know the ambassador in Dubai. I thought, ye to Delhi wala hai naam. He's just name dropping. Phenk raha hai. So I said, yeah, sure. Even I know the queen in Buckingham Palace. He goes, no, I'm serious. Do you need help? I said, yes. But I didn't have any hope. I didn't think that he could do anything. I said, what can you do? India's rejected me. I can't go back. So I can just sit back and pray. He said, look, I will get you back. This was Friday now. And he said, Saturday, Sunday, I just need to get your documents ready, fill in some application forms. Where are your daughters? I said, Anishka, Sonakshi, both in Delhi. Okay, Anishka and I will do it. By Monday, you'll have your visa. Tuesday or Wednesday, you'll be back in Delhi. You owe me a chai prashad. I said, okay. I didn't believe him. Monday, I got my visa. Tuesday, I booked. Wednesday, I was back in Delhi. And this is Guru Parivar. Guruji made it possible, of course. And it's as usual. Nothing surprises me anymore. And then the moment of, again, another surprise in my life. So now, since I'd gone back to India after a year, my friends said to me, my Guru family friends, they said that let's go to Kashmir. So I said, I have no desire to travel right now. I've come back to Delhi and I'm really happy to be here. I felt at home and there were small satsangs happening then. It was February when I returned to Delhi of this year. And then what happened is I succumbed. I said, okay, let's go. They said, yeah, we'll go on Holi, 29th March, and we'll go to Kashmir and for 4 nights. And then Ramsin. And then what happened is I went, and on the way back, we had a fantastic time, of course, with Guruji's grace. And then on the way back, my friend, she said, I've got a sore throat. And before she said that, she said, have some peanuts. And we started sharing the peanuts from the same plate. And then she goes, I have a sore throat. I said, what timing? I mean, now you're telling me after having peanuts together. So the following day, that was Saturday, she said, I'm COVID positive. I had no symptoms besides a scratchy throat. I had lunch with my neighbor, Varsha. She's a staunch Guruji believer. She set up a pura darbar in her home. And it's a blessing to have our Guru Darbar and Guru family. The entire building is now Guruji's family. It's a blessing, and I asked for it also at one point last year. When I used to see people's darbars, I say, wow, you have permanent darbars. And when I got back from Dubai in February, Varsha says, I've got a permanent darbar in my home. I couldn't believe it. I said, wow, so blessed. And then Sunday night, I got COVID. And I have to say, जो गुरुजी के वचन हैं, वो अब काम आते हैं, and we must practice them, implement them. It is not theory. Like Guruji says, सब कुछ practical दोनों दिखा रहे हैं कि रब है. And he sits amidst us. I started listening to the Satsangs that Kunal sends from Bade Mandir. And really, like, even though I had high fever and I had a lot of body ache, it was not the most pleasant viral I've ever had. It was different. And second day, I started listening to Shabads. Varsha would send a playlist of 1 hour every day. I would listen attentively with a lot of love and devotion. And third day, I was sitting up, though I had fever. and I would read the Shiv Puran. So how then Guruji, and I have to say, I'm rewinding a little bit, just a tad, to say that even when Sonakshi met with an accident, the most beautiful thing for me was that she's connecting on a deeper level with Guruji. She would say, Mom, where's the Guruji Sarup under my pillow? And when are you reading the Shiv Puran to me? So it was just, I realized that she's making her own connect. Of course, they were 6 and 7 when I started going to Guruji, and he would initially have them every day. And then he would say, the school disturb on there, the weekend which leke aaya kar. Friday leke aaya kar, ya Saturday leke aaya kar. Roz na leke aaya kar, or disturb hunde ne bacche. But, when we instill these values in our children from a young age, or any age for that matter, unka bhi life bahut achhi ho jati hai. Because then we always have this anchor, this sense of support, umbrella over our heads. So anyway, the long to short, I was fine after a couple of weeks of having COVID. And then my daughters had to come back because now Sonakshi was fine. The doctor had said the main satsang, sorry, I forgot. Okay, when I landed back in Delhi, before I had the COVID, of course, when I landed back in Delhi after Dubai, as I landed, Anishka said, okay, Mama, we're in a quandary. We are going to Hyderabad right now because 5 doctors in Delhi have said surgery, 5 have said no surgery. So now the final verdict is in Hyderabad. I said, fine, I'm going to Chota Mandir. I'm going to have my chai prasad there. You let me know. And when I went and I came out, my elder one calls me. She said, Mama, definitely no surgery as of now. So that is Jai Guruji. I mean, her eye was still very sore and she would look like this at her samosa prasad. And she could barely see. She would see double. She was in a lot of distress, but she was very patient about it, I must say, because Guruji was giving her patience. And patience is also a greatest virtue that humans can have. Because if we can remain patient, and if we can have that hope that, jo hoga, achhe ke liye hoga, jo ho raha hai, achhe ke liye ho raha hai. I mean, Guruji hai na, तो हमें कुछ वरी करने की जरूरत नहीं है. हम needlessly worry करते हैं. We overthink, which is again needless. This is human nature, and it's the nature of the mind. It wanders, it wavers, it falters, and we lose that ray of hope. But there is actually, Guruji shows us time and again कि चिंता नहीं चिंतन करो, मैनू सिर्फ याद करो, मैनू प्यार करो, be God loving, not God fearing. So I walked out, I saw Sonakshi, and within weeks, she seemed fine. She said, Mom, doctor did say 6 months, I will restore my vision completely. And I need to go back to Dubai. Now I need to work. As Anishka is a meditation and yoga teacher here. And Sonakshi is, working also. She's into yoga maths. So she said, Mom, we're both going. And you come whenever you can. Because I was having too much of a good time in Delhi now. I said, yeah, I'll come. I'm enjoying meeting everyone, reuniting with my Sangat. But 1 week after I had COVID, see Guruji's timing. When I had COVID, everything was accessible. The oxygen cylinder. Varsha also got the COVID. We were running parallel, but Varsha was much stronger than me. But we were running parallel. So we both had COVID together. I had gifted I had transmitted the gift. And then after a week, we both decided we both had COVID. So let's do satsang together, sit together and remember Guruji for an hour, have langar. It was blissful. But then during that time, there was a storm in Delhi, a storm of cases, a huge avalanche. Suddenly, from white, things turned black, literally. I didn't understand what had happened. Nobody understands. It was incomprehensible. And February, when I came to Delhi, there were hardly any cases. Suddenly, in end of April, May, there was an avalanche of cases. Overnight, there was no oxygen cylinders. People were literally dropping like 9 pins. It was shocking. And I thought, with my underlying issues, I was given everything that I needed. Thanks to Sangat, thanks to Varsha, thanks to Guruji. because people always said to me one thing, that I hope you never get COVID. Because if you do, with all your underlying issues and all that you've gone through, I don't think you'll survive. And here I am sharing my satsang with you. So it's magical. And I hate using that word magical, because it is His grace. It is His ever-flowing, immeasurable love and grace. He is just remarkable. And we are so blessed to have Him in our lives. And I always say we're too blessed to be stressed. We have no right to be stressed in our lives. We have no right to doubt. We have no right to be sad. He's given us the tools to be happy and to be grateful. Grateful people are always happy. So being grateful is the key. Gratitude for everything. So when I was in Delhi and my girls were here, I was happy, honestly. Varsha and I were doing satsangs every single day. I would go down in my nightwear. I would just go down and sit and listen to the Shabad, no matter how weak I was. But the langar, one day, the first or second day of having COVID, I just said, Guruji, mujhe langar chahiye. Mujhe langar prasad chahiye, wohi meri medicine hai. Believe you me, and Varsha's a witness, we were both enjoying langar prasad coming from Bada Mandir, Chota Mandir, kisi ka satsang. Satsangs were at a halt, but we were getting langar. So again, Guruji just made the impossible possible. And my niece, she was distributing langar prasad. I was getting it from her. I said, wow, I'm getting it from all quarters. How blessed can one be? And this is His grace. कहते हैं गुरु के बिना तो एक पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता. हम एक्चुअली कुछ भी नहीं है. आज जो मुझे रिस्पेक्ट भी मिलती है ना, उन्हीं की दी हुई रिस्पेक्ट है, क्योंकि मैं कुछ भी नहीं हूँ. I remember when I cried in front of Guruji one day. I said, Guruji, you know, मेरी family मुझे समझती है कि मैं lost soul हूँ, इंग्लैंड से आई हूँ, आपके पास आती हूँ शाम को, घर जाती हूँ रात को, तो मैं भटक गई हूँ. They used to think I'm lost, but in my heart I knew I have found something extraordinary. So I used to cry, but I also became immune to it, because Guruji reassured me. He said, Kamliye, tu tenu jo milya hai na, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਾਲੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਆਏਗੀ. ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਆਏਗਾ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦਾ ਤੇਰੀ family ਤੋਂ ਆਏਗਾ. And I said, Guruji, you don't know my family. वो नहीं आएंगे. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੈ, ਦੇਖੀ ਤੂੰ ਹੈਰਾਨ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਜਾਏਂਗੀ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਿਸਮਤ ਵਾਲੀ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਤੂੰ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਆ ਗਈ. And I was like, really? किस्मत वाली तो मैं फील करती थी, महसूस तो करती थी दिल में कि मुझे बहुत ब्लिसफुल लगता था. मेरा दिल बहुत खुश होता था गुरुजी के पास बैठ के. एंड मुझे लगता था कि मुझे सब कुछ मिल गया यही. और एक्चुअली मेरी मांग खत्म हो गई थी. मैं मांगती नहीं थी सवाए उनका प्यार. और वो आज भी मांगती हूँ कि गुरुजी प्यार करना ना बंद करना. ऑफ कोर्स नहीं करेंगे, पर मैं हमेशा कहती थी गुरुजी प्यार करते रहो. Just keep loving me. That's all I want. I just want love. I have a huge, insatiable appetite for His love. And वो प्यार गुरुजी करते हैं संगत के थ्रू. और संगत हमेशा आगे आती है. Anita आंटी कॉफी के लिए जाना है. It's small things, but it's not. It is big things. It really is big. जहाँ कोई पूछता नहीं था आपको, आज सब पूछते हैं. जहाँ कोई आपको प्यार नहीं करता था और मिसअंडरस्टैंड करता था, आज सब अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं और प्यार करते हैं. बहुत बड़ी चीज है. He turns black into white. He turns hatred into love. He turns a misunderstanding into understanding. And He makes us human. कहते सी मैं bless करते थे गुरुजी, तो कहते मैं बंदा बनाता है. I keep digressing, but जो बातें याद आती है दिल करता है शेयर करने के लिए. Last but not the least, गुरुजी जब सोनाक्षी ने बोला, निष्का ने बोला, मम्मा केसेस बहुत बढ़ गए हैं दिल्ली में. They got apprehensive. I was comfortable. मुझे लंगर मिल रहा था, आतिका भेज रही थी, वर्षा घर में बना रही थी, बड़े मंदिर से. God bless गौरव भैया, he was sending me. फोन आ जाता था, सुधा आंटी बेचा बूंद कड्डी भेज दो, you know. And I was like, wow, Guruji, so much love overflowing. And बड़े मंदिर से आ रहा है, छोटे मंदिर से आ रहा है, सब जगह से आ रहा है, ऐसे कौन ये कर सकता है? एंड मैं ठीक हो गई। एंड मेरे बच्चे बोले मम्मा दुबई आ जाओ। मैंने कहा इम्पॉसिबल है ना, एयरपोर्ट बंद है, फ्लाइट्स नहीं है, दिल्ली से दुबई कैसे आऊं, उड़ के आऊं, मैजिक कार्पेट में आऊं? कहते मम्मी मुझे नहीं पता, आप आ जाओ। गुरुजी ने सचमुच अपना मैजिक कार्पेट निकाला और मुझे दुबई, दिल्ली से दुबई पहुंचा दिया। कैसे, ये भी मतलब अमेजिंग है। He plants the thought in somebody's head, they are chartering a flight, and they are my ex-family, you know, barely a minimal connection. And Anishka Sonakshi said, please get our mom. And they don't even hesitate for a minute. Though they say it's a 14-seater, and we're 14 already. Mama kahan baithegi? और मम्मा कहाँ बैठी? जहाँ गुरुजी ने बैठाया, right in the center of the 14-seater. वो स्क्वॉश हो गए, पर गुरुजी ने मुझे स्क्वॉश नहीं होने दिया. He made me travel like a queen, brought me here, and I'm here in Dubai again with my daughters. So again, Guruji rewrites our chapters. जो कभी मैंने सोचा भी नहीं था, imagine भी नहीं किया, वो भी कर देते हैं manifest. And with His grace, I'm sitting here sharing satsangs amidst 10 people, 12 people, छोटे-छोटे contained satsangs हो रहे हैं, beautiful sangat here, so connected. कुछ है दुबई में, ज़मीन बहुत pure है, and we really connect on a deep level, very with a lot of simplicity and love and devotion and dedication. So Guruji की मेहर सब पे हो, सर्वदा भला, सबकी बुद्धि अच्छी रखें गुरुजी, और सारी दुनिया कनेक्ट हो जाए। सब जय गुरुजी बोले, चाहे अंग्रेज हो, चाहे जर्मन हो। ये जो प्लेटफॉर्म आपने शुरू किया अंकल, बहुत अच्छा किया। एंड आई होप एक एक बंदा जर्मन हो, चाहे जय गुरुजी बोले, चाहे इंग्लिश एक्सेंट में बोले, चाहे अमेरिकन एक्सेंट में बोले, पर जय गुरुजी ही हमारी बी ऑल एंड एंड ऑल ऑफ आवर वोकैबुलरी हो, हमारी वोकैबुलरी ही जय गुरुजी हो। एंड वही वोकैबुलरी हमें कितनी किताबें, कितनी वॉल्यूम्स और कितनी हमें अलग अलग लाइब्रेरीज में लेके जाए, द लाइब्रेरी ऑफ हेवन। सो गुरुजी हमें बहुत सबको ब्लेस करें और करते जाएं और प्यार करते जाएं। May He carry on loving us, and may we also just love Him. Fear doing wrong, but don't be God fearing. Be God loving, but fear your own karmas, fear your own wrongdoings. हमेशा सोचो गलत करने से पहले, क्योंकि फायदा नहीं है, लॉन्ग टर्म बेनिफिट्स नहीं होते चीट करने में या गलत करने में। लगता है पर लॉन्ग टर्म नहीं होता, ये शॉर्ट टर्म होता है। गुरुजी ने सिखाया है, कहते हैं जेरी गलत उन चलाकियां होंदियां ना, ए दूर तक नहीं जांदियां। पोले रहो, चंगे रहो, चंगा बनो बस सच्ची, और घबराओ नहीं चंगा बनने से, क्योंकि चंगा बनने से ही हम बंदा बन जाते हैं। तो इसलिए घबराना नहीं है कि वो दुनिया चलाक है तो हमें भी चलाक बनना चाहिए। दुनिया चुस्त है तो नहीं, यू कांट सर्वाइव इन दिस वर्ल्ड विदाउट डूइंग सम रॉन्ग डूइंग्स, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। जो कुछ नहीं दे सकता किसी को, गुरुजी सब कुछ दे देते हैं। जब मैं बिलीव यू मी, जब मेरा डिवोर्स हुआ, मुझे बहुत फाइनेंशियल इनसिक्योरिटी थी। मैं सोच रही थी, मेरे 4 भाई हैं, मैं अकेली लड़की हूँ, लेकिन पेट्रियार्कल फैमिली थी, एंड ऑब्वियसली पेरेंट्स सब कुछ बेटों को दे देते हैं। तो मैंने कहा मैं कैसे सर्वाइव करूंगी, देने वाला रब होता है। एंड सचमुच गुरुजी ने जो दिया है उसका कोई मेजर नहीं है, कोई कैलकुलेशन नहीं है, कहाँ से आता है कब आता है वो गुरुजी जानते हैं, वो ही देने वाले हैं सबको। तो कभी घबराना नहीं है कि कोविड टाइम्स है तो हमारी फाइनेंशियली हमें चैलेंज्ड हो गए, कुछ नहीं है, अच्छा मुंह से निकालो। कहते सरस्वती चलती है, गुरुजी हमेशा कहते से चंगा बोलिया करो, चंगा सोचा करो, कभी नेगेटिव नहीं सोचो। डिसएंगेज योर माइंड फ्रॉम नेगेटिव चैटर, न्यूज से भी डिसएंगेज हो जाओ, और ये कोविड का नाम ही ना लो, क्योंकि जितना हम एनर्जी देंगे नेगेटिव को, कोविड को, उतना हमारे पास आएगा। तो इसको एनर्जी नहीं देनी। हम ह्यूमंस हैव वेरी लिमिटेड एनर्जी, we have a very limited lifespan, it's a ridiculously short life actually. So ये जो एनर्जी है, ये पूरी एनर्जी हम अच्छे में डालें, हम सिर्फ गुरुजी में डालें, और हमारे सारे एस्पेक्ट्स सही हो जाते हैं लाइफ के, चाहे हमारा हेल्थ हो, चाहे फाइनेंसेस हो, चाहे हमारे रिलेशनशिप्स हो। गुरुजी कहते थे नानक दुखिया सब संसार, कोई ना कोई कष्ट हर इंसान ਨੂੰ है, पर ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ याद करते हो और ਮੈਨੂੰ जुड़ जाते हो, तो ये जब मैंने ग्लो मांगी फॉर इंस्टेंस, मैं छोटा सा है, सॉरी मुझे पता है 1 घंटे से ज्यादा हो गया होगा डेफिनेटली, मैंने घड़ी नहीं देखी।
आंटी प्लीज कैरी ऑन, कैरी ऑन।
मैंने ग्लो के बारे में सुनाना है बिकॉज ये ग्लो मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी चीज है। सो ग्लो, जब गुरुजी बैठे थे एक दिन, इसमें 2 सत्संग है। सो दोपहर में एक फ्रेंड आई मेरी, और उस टाइम कोई रिसेप्टिव नहीं होता था यू नो गुरुजी के लिए, इनफैक्ट सब मजाक उड़ाते थे। तो मेरी फ्रेंड आई और चाय पी मेरे साथ, और चाय गुरुजी के फोटो के सामने जूठा रख दिया, और मैं बड़ी ऑफेंड हो गई। मैं बहुत ऑफेंडेड हो जाती थी, कोई ऐसे कुछ बोलता था गुरुजी के बारे में या कुछ, तो मैं कहती थी जूठा, डोंट कीप जूठा इन फ्रंट ऑफ माय गुरुजी। तो वो हंसने लग गई, कहती you know, whatever. I said, no, not whatever. This is my Guruji. Don't keep juta. So कहती okay, you're overreacting, but it's okay. Anyway, वो इवनिंग में मैं गई, सबको पता है मैं बहुत चीट करती थी। गुरुजी कहते थे 7 बजे आया कर जो तो संगत लगती है, मैं 5 बजे पहुंच जाती थी। मेरी इनसेशिएबल एपेटाइट होती थी गुरुजी के प्यार के लिए, ब्लेसिंग्स के लिए, एक्स्ट्रा चाय प्रसाद के लिए। वो अभी भी है, जहाँ सत्संग होता है मैं देखती रहती हूँ, एक्स्ट्रा मिल जाए चाय प्रसाद। तो मैं 5 बजे पहुंच जाती थी, और गुरुजी बहुत ग्रेशियस थे, वो बुला लेते थे अपने वो छोटे मंदिर में जो उनका प्राइवेट रूम होता था। तो एक बार मैं गई शाम को, तो गुरुजी बैठे थे, एक बहुत सुंदर लेडी थी पाकिस्तान से, और वो गुरुजी के चरण दबा रही थी, पहली बार आई थी, तो बहुत ग्लो था उसकी फेस में। तो मैं दूर तक बैठ गई और मैं उसकी ग्लो देखती रही। 2 सेकंड गुरुजी को मत्था टेका, पर मेरा फोकस सिर्फ उस पे था, एंड मैं देखती गई। मैं बहुत इनामर्ड थी, मैं बहुत ही कैप्टिवेट हो गई उसकी ब्यूटी से, एंड मैं मन ही मन बोलती गई, आई विश आई वाज एज ब्यूटीफुल एज हर, आई वांट अ ग्लो, आई विश आई हैड अ ग्लो। गुरुजी स्माइल कर रहे हैं, बिल्कुल साइलेंट है, और सुन रहे हैं मेरा इनर डायलॉग, और सोच रहे हैं यू नो व्हाट डू आई डू अबाउट दिस यू नो फनी चाइल्ड ऑफ माइन, एंड ही स्माइलिंग इज यू नो, and फिर कहते हैं he breaks the silence, and this woman is pressing Guruji's feet, and that's where I see Guruji again broke the boundaries of religion. वो मुसलमान थी पाकिस्तान से, so therefore Guruji has no religion. So Guruji कहते हैं नीता चाय प्रसाद मंगवावा, मैं कहा हाँ जी गुरुजी, हाँ जी गुरुजी, उनकी तरफ देख के लेडी की तरफ। तो मेरा अभी भी दिमाग में वही चल रहा था, आई विश आई वाज सो ब्यूटीफुल, आई विश आई हैड अ ग्लो। तो फिर वो लेडी चाय प्रसाद आती है, हम पी रहे होते हैं, और वो भी पी रही होती है, और जूठा गुरुजी के चरण के आगे रखती थी। तो मैं एकदम, व्हाट अ ब्यूटीफुल वुमन, व्हाट अ शेमलेस वुमन, मेरा एकदम थॉट्स बदल जाते हैं, शिफ्ट हो जाते हैं कि कैसे रख सकती है, शेमलेस। मैं आंख बंद कर लेती हूँ, कहती अब नहीं मैंने देखना इसको। तो गुरुजी और भी स्माइल करते हैं और हंसते हैं और कहते नीता, हाँ जी गुरुजी। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾ ਨਾ, ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਝੂਠਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੱਖੇਦਾ, ਫਿਰ ਤੇਰੀ ਗਲੋ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨਾ, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਗਲੋ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। By this time I said, oh my God Guruji, and I just closed my eyes. I said, Guruji ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਲੋ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਅਸਲੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੰਗ ਲੈ, ਰੱਬ ਕੋਲ ਰੱਬ ਮੰਗ ਲੈ, ਗਲੋ ਹੀ ਗਲੋ ਹੈ। So today I understand that when we actually love our Guruji from our heart and soul, वो जो glow है, it spreads itself to every aspect of our lives. It permeates every aspect and every facet of our being, not only our physical being, but everything that we have that has been gifted by him, whether it's our finances, whether it's our relationships, whether it's our work, whether it's our aspirations. There is glow in everything because we love him. And the nearer you go to him, the nearer he comes to you, and the world is at your feet. So ये तो गुरुजी का पक्का है, आप प्यार करो प्योरिटी एंड पायरिटी के साथ, not with conditions. Our love has to be unconditional, and उनका हुक्म to the letter is very important. अगर उन्होंने कहा है शब्द चलाओ जिन्हें मैं bless करते हैं, I'm not saying don't play others, but Bollywood songs can be avoided for sure. And you know others तो बहुत आए उसके बाद, of course God bless all of them. कितने आए हैं? Siddharth Mohan has come after Guruji left his body. There's Rinku Ji. There's so many. It's fine. They're all blessed souls. But Guruji के शब्द चलाइए. maybe 80%, and the rest then 20% play the new ones. Because Guruji की जो blessings होती है ना, बहुत flow करती है, स्वांसर दी माला, रखी चन्ना दे कोल, और जिसमें वाक्य होता है वो गुरुजी बहुत सुनाते थे. सुंगा डूंगा चुंगा उंगा वाला जो था एक, चार तरह दे लोग आंदे ने, सूंघते रहंदे ने या सो जांदे ने इत्थे आके, या डूंगे होंदे ने जो सचमुच कुछ पाके जाना चाहते हैं, कुछ सीखते हैं, वो wisdom कुछ draw करते हैं from the shepherd. So wisdom and knowledge is something that he gives us. But I mean, that's something I always ask also. Guruji ज्ञान देते रहना, knowledge देते रहना. It's so beautiful. देंगे और किताबें लिखवाओ. Because I just feel whatever seva he gives you, do it with your heart and soul. हमारा कुछ नहीं है, सब उनका ही है. मेरा मुझ में कुछ नहीं, सब कुछ तेरा, तो तेरा ही तेरा है, सब कुछ तेरा है. बहुत सत्संग्स हैं, बहुत. आई रिमेम्बर, मैं आपको एक लास्ट सुनाती हूँ, सॉरी. जब मेरा डिवोर्स हुआ था तो मैं बहुत फाइनेंशियली इनसिक्योर थी, एज आई सेड. एंड मैंने कहा गुरुजी, मेरे फादर ने ना एक वो दिया है मुझे बजट कि मैं इसी में अपार्टमेंट ढूंढूंगी. तो वो हंसने लग गए, कहते ठीक है. तो मुझे पूरा 1 महीना लग गया और मैंने 50 अपार्टमेंट्स ढूंढे दिल्ली शहर में, और मैंने जीके में, एसटीए में, सब जगह देखे. मुझे कुछ पसंद नहीं आता था. शाम को आती थी, रोज शाम को थक टूट के. तो गुरुजी पूछते थे फिर कितने देखा. मैं कहा गुरुजी इतने होते होते. अच्छा, फिर पंचिल देख. तो मैंने देखा और मुझे बहुत पसंद आया. लव एट फर्स्ट साइट. बड़ा था पर बजट था 3 times more. तो आई सेड गुरुजी मुझे अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकती और मेरे फादर तो बहुत नाराज हो जाएंगे. आपको तो पता है, बेटों को सब कुछ करते हैं, बेटियों को ऐसे ही होता है. तो कहते हैं अच्छा, कहते फिर ऐसा कर, बाहर जा, फोन लेके जा अपना, और उन्होंने फोन कर फादर नु और कहे कि मैं देखा पंचशील विच, और लेकिन 3 गुना ज्यादा है. मैं कहा गुरुजी मैं नहीं करूंगी. मैं बहुत रिजर्व थी, मैं ऐसे कभी पेरेंट्स से कुछ मांगती नहीं थी. एंड मैं बहुत ओल्ड स्कूल हूँ. तो मैंने कहा नहीं गुरुजी, मैं ऐसे नहीं बोल सकती गुरुजी, डांट पड़ जाएगी डैडी से. मेरी मेहर है, क्या देखने की कहते ने. और हंस रहे थे गुरुजी. ऑफ कोर्स ही न्यू एवरीथिंग. सो मैं गई बाहर डर डर के. मैं कहा डैड मैंने पंचशील में देखा है, आई हैव सीन समथिंग. डैड इट्स फॉर दिस मच. अच्छा, मैं तेनों 5 मिनट बात करना. माय फादर सेज आई जस्ट स्पीक टू योर ब्रदर्स. And he must have rang for my 4 brothers, and then he came back to me after 5 minutes. They said yes. I came back. I said Guruji, उन्होंने तो हाँ कर दी. कहते मैं क्या सी, मेरी मेहर है. अच्छा, अगला तेनू बसंत विहार लेके देवांगा. मैं कहा गुरुजी मैं पंचशील तो अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकती, तो बसंत विहार कैसे लूंगी, जुगाड़ करांगे. कह के खत्म हो गई बात. Then what happened? I went back to England, and in 2010, as I said, and there was a beautiful Sangat. I remember him still, him and his wife, beautiful couple, who wanted to stay in Panchil on rent. And I have to say, they gave me a handsome rent also. I was really happy. And they stayed there for 3 or 4 years. And then what happened? I came back to India. I had nowhere to stay. So I stayed with my brother for a while. And I stayed somewhere else, which I'm not allowed to mention. And for 2 years, I stayed there. And then what happened? Sangat, wohi jisne cake leke aayi thi, she said, oh no, my youngest brother said, look, you have this plot, you have this house in Gurgaon. You'll never live in Gurgaon, your daughters. Please sell it. And you're getting a really good rate, sell it. And we're all moving to a Sant Vihar. We're going to this Palam Marg, and you can move in somewhere in BV for a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. You can well afford it. I said, no, I can't. He said, you can, after, we sell your Gurgaon home. It was exactly the same amount. We got the home, but before we got the home, Aunty and I were looking in elsewhere, not Vasant Vihar, because in my head I said, no, I can't afford Vasant Vihar. I can't afford Vasant Vihar. This Sangat who got the chocolate cake when I had these shoes to the hospital many years before, she came forward again. Some people come to your life as angels. So she said, why are you looking here and there? Just go straight, dive into Vasandhya. Look there. Guruji had told you you'll get it in Vasandhya. The long to short, Sudanti had accompanied me from Chota Mandir, and we went to Vasant Vihar, went to many of them. In the end, we met B7 by 6. 7 and 6 is 13. So she stood there. Sudanti said, "Ayu tera makan hai. Guruji, 13 number hai na? Ayu tera." I said, "Oh, कहती आप 13 नंबर है, ayu tera." तो वो हुआ, वो लिया, and वहां सत्संग शुरू हुए. ऐसे वर्षा नीचे कनेक्ट हुई, ऊपर संगीता कनेक्ट हुई, पूरी बिल्डिंग गुरुजी ने मंदिर बना दिया एंड लाइफ को ब्लिस कर दिया. और क्या चाहिए? रब है तो सब है, और हमें रब है तो सब है, लिटरली. आई मीन, और क्या कहें? वी लॉस्ट आवर वर्ड्स फॉल शॉर्ट. सत्संग हम कर ही नहीं सकते हैं because there's not enough words in the dictionary, and we cannot measure his bounty, we cannot measure his beauty. We just have to feel it. Guruji ek ehsaas hai, and Guruji sab pe meher kare, सब पे मेहर करें. गुरुजी, ये बहुत डिफिकल्ट टाइम है, जो गुरुजी ने बोला था ये भी कट जाएगा, लेकिन ये डिफिकल्ट टाइम्स में it's easy to connect to him. He's manifested himself more than ever, I feel, and he's showing us कि मैं तुहाडे नाल है, फिकर नहीं करना. शुक्र करो, फिकर नहीं करो, जिक्र करो, बस उनको प्यार करो. जय गुरु जी.
Jai Guruji. Thank you, Aunty. Thank you for sharing this wonderful satsang. ऐसा लगा कि हम साक्षात गुरुजी के सामने बैठ के हम वो विजुअलाइज कर रहे हैं जो आपने बोला. I mean, I could really feel that I'm sitting in front of गुरुजी, and जो भी आप कह रही थी, ऐसा लग रहा था मानो सामने से गुरुजी आपसे कह रहे हैं और हम वो सारी चीजें देख रहे हैं. Shukrana once again, Shukrana Guruji, and thank you, Aunty. Thank you once again. So over to you, Suresh Uncle.
वीडियो बंद कर लीजिए प्लीज. Thank you, Anita, for sharing a divine satsang. It was a beautiful satsang.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Divya.
Nimesh Uncle, over to you.
जी जी. ओके. जय गुरु जी, अनिता आंटी. अब हम मंत्र जाप सुनेंगे और फिर आज्ञा लेंगे.
जय गुरु जी. Thank you.
मुझे तुमने दाता बहुत कुछ दिया है, मुझे तुमने दाता बहुत कुछ दिया है. तेरा शुक्रिया है, तेरा शुक्रिया है. मुझे तुमने दाता बहुत कुछ दिया है. तेरा शुक्रिया है, तेरा शुक्रिया है. ओम नमः शिवाय. शिव जी सदा सहाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. गुरु जी सदा सहाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. शिव जी सदा सहाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. गुरु जी सदा सहाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. शिव जी सदा सहाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. गुरु जी सदा सहाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. शिव जी सदा सहाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. गुरु जी सदा सहाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरु जी सदा सहाय।
जय गुरु जी संगत जी, अब हम आज के लिए आज्ञा लेंगे। मैं सभी को अनम्यूट कर रहा हूँ।
शुक्राना गुरुजी, अनंतम अनंतम शुक्राना। Thank you, Anita. Means a lot. Your
Thank you,
Satsang.
Guruji.
Thank you.
बहुत बहुत शुक्राना गुरुजी।
शुक्राना गुरुजी, सर्वदा भला गुरुजी। शुक्राना गुरुजी।
अनंतम अनंतम शुक्राना
जय
गुरुजी।
गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी।
सबके शीशे में
जय गुरु जी,
हाथ रख
गुरु जी।
शुक्राना